Saluditos mi gente de Lucha, Libre Online, que es la que hay, les habla Isa, la Demon Diva, y hoy me encuentro con una superhéroe, a superhero from Women of Wrestling, from the capital, from the bourbon capital of the world, Jessie Jones. Jessie, how are you today?
I'm doing good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I want to thank you so much for your time today and for speaking to us. We are so excited to have you here.
Oh, no problem. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, we just spoke about where you're from, and I wanted to ask you about growing up, you know, in Kentucky, you're a small town girl. Was wrestling something you always wanted to do? Is that something you always chased? Were you a fan growing up?
I was a huge wrestling fan when I was a kid, but I had no idea how you got into it. I thought that, you know, people just picked people to wrestle and then trained them and then threw them on television. I'd never been to a show or anything like that. But I've loved wrestling ever since I was probably in elementary school.
Wow, I did see you have some inspiration from Dusty Rhodes. Is that one of your favorites? Is there other favorites that you looked up to growing up?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge Rowdy Roddy Piper fan. So my the people that I really liked has like changed from like, you know, when I was a kid and watching to where like when I started getting into wrestling and training and watching you know, watching video and stuff like that. And then I became a huge like Mr. Perfect fan. I'm a big fan of Sherry Martel. Like I love 80s wrestling. Like I love old school like Southern wrestling. That is my shtick.
I know. Is that the reason why you want to make wrestling great again? Is this because you wanted to go back to those days? I want to take it
back to the old ways, the way that it was back when you was watching Dusty Rhodes and Rowdy Roddy Piper and I can't just name them because I literally won't stop. Like Beautiful Body Eaton, Ricky Morton, Tracy Smothers, of course. Like, you know, like I just thought that it was the most fun and entertaining wrestling that there was.
That's incredible. I love hearing that you're from that old school wrestling mentality, right? Now you debuted back in 2010. Is that correct? You've been doing this a long time.
I actually started as a manager at Ringside in 2005. I started my training. Yeah, I started training in 2008, and my first debut match on the independent circuit was in 2009.
Well, so you're a veteran at this already. Do you consider yourself a veteran, or do you learn something new every day, especially now with Women of Wrestling?
I'm always learning. Anybody who says that they're not learning or don't have anything else to learn, they need to like burn their boots, because you never stop learning, even if it's what not to do. And you can take something away from everybody that you work with or that you encounter. So some people would say I'm a veteran, you know, I know a lot, but I know, you know, I know a lot, but I know a little.
Yes. And before I get into what you're doing today, I wanted to ask about your time at Ohio Valley Wrestling. How was that experience for you?
It was awesome. It was a great learning experience. I feel very honored and privileged to get to work with the girls that I got to wrestle with and to learn from the veterans that I got to learn from, because there was people like Doug Williams and, you know, of course, Danny Davis in the locker room, and Jim Cornette was in and out, and we had Kid Cash. There was so many great minds and also different wrestling styles and knowledge to learn from. And I feel that it really benefited me to be a part of Ohio Valley.
That is incredible. I did also see that early on in your career, you defeated Mickie James, one of my favorites. How was that for you? And I wanted to ask you about women that you want to wrestle now, like your dream matches, for example.
Yeah, I think Mickie James was in 2011, maybe, and that was in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And it was so funny because I was just like really getting rolling, and I got a call from the guy, and he was like, "Oh, would you be okay with working Mickie James?" And I'm like, "Yeah." like losing it and stuff like
Right?
that. And then when I met her, you know, she was a very, very like nice and just humble and sweet and cool and like phenomenal wrestler. Like it was an experience that I won't never forget.
Oh, that's incredible. And what about looking into the future? Do you have any dream matches something that you want to, do?
There's a few that I would like to do. I'd really like to wrestle Natalia or Sarah Del Rey. There's so many incredibly talented women out there on the circuit that you can't just pick one.
It's incredible.
I guess the one I got my eye on is, huh?
No, go ahead.
I said, I guess the one I got my eye on right now would be the Beast.
Okay, and I was going to say, it's incredible how far women's wrestling has come from the days that you started watching, right? From when you were a fan to where it is now today. How do you feel about that? How much she has, grown and what an impact it's making today?
I absolutely love it. I remember once at one big show that I was working on, I went out and I had a match, and I was actually really like proud of myself. I thought it was great. And when I went back and I asked the promoter, I was like, "Are you happy?" And he was like, "You wrestle like a dude." And I was like, "Thanks." And he was like, "It's not a compliment. You need to wrestle like a girl." And this was back in like 2011. And I'm like, "But I trained with all the guys. I did all the drills. I did like, I take privilege in knowing that I'm just as good as the guys, but you want me to like wear more makeup and throw my hair around and stuff like that." Right. And that's not what I'm about,
Right. Now, I want to ask you about what you're doing now with women of wrestling. I watched you in the ring, and you have like this vicious in-ring style that we just don't see it. And my favorite thing about it is that it seems like you enjoy it. Talk to me about the statement that you're trying to make here on Women of Wrestling.
I have so much fun. Well, in the older seasons, I wanted to make wrestling great again, take it back to the old school ways of, just that Dusty Rhodes era. And right now I'm kind of like ready to fight David McLean because he stripped me of the tag belts because the Dixie Darlings had to go back home to Virginia. So right now I'm focused on forcing anybody to be my tag partner, just so I can jump back in the tag tournament and get the tag titles back, since David has made it abundantly clear that he is not going to allow me to compete by myself.
Which I think it would be interesting, if I'm being honest with you. I would love to see it.
I literally considered going out there and picking him up off of commentary and like lifting him up and putting him on the apron. And I'm like, "See, I've got a partner. Don't worry. You can just stand here."
But then he'll win a belt. Yeah, then he'll win. I was going to say, you've done some defeating things here at Women of Wrestling. I remember a segment in which you put your gum on the forehead. Like I
was mad it didn't stick.
I just love how daring you are.
In the ring. Huh?
I love how daring you are and how different. You're not afraid to speak your mind, and you're just not afraid to make a statement. And I respect that.
Yes, thank you. I'm like, I'm not afraid to. Like, I mean, if you need somebody to hate, I'm willing to be that person.
Also, I wanted to ask you, this is completely off topic, but can you talk to me about golf balling a deer? Because I saw a video of you on the internet, and that went in a direction I was not expecting it to go. Is that you? Have you done that?
Yeah, I've the first time that I'd golf balled a deer, I think I was 11 or 12 years old, and we were at my Uncle Red's house, and he's Uncle Red because he had red hair like me, and so they all called him Uncle Red. But anyways, so we were getting our deer ready, right? And we've got him hanging up in the barn, and he's showing me how to do it. And you cut the tuft around the neck, skin, limbs, and stuff like that. You pull the hide back and you stick a golf ball in there and you wrap a rope around it, and then you tie it to a truck hitch and take off. And it's so funny because I was telling, I think Al Snow about it, because Al Snow was like, "I don't believe the character you're trying to portray. I don't think you're a redneck." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Can you clean a fish? Can you golf ball a deer?" And he was like, what is golf balling a deer? And then I told him, and he's like, that ain't even real. And then I was like, oh yeah. And I pulled up this video that I had in my old phone of where we did like 3 deers at my Uncle Red's house. And I'm like, well, bam. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, I've done it. And yeah, I'm a redneck and I ain't afraid of it.
That is probably how I felt when I clicked play on the video. I didn't know where it was going. And then I was like, well, is there, outside of golf balling deers, is there other hobbies that you like to do outside of wrestling?
I really like basically anything outdoors. Like I'm a fish, so anything that involves water. I love canoeing, kayaking, swimming. I like to go hiking waterfalls. I'm just pretty simple. Hunting if I don't have shows to do during hunting season. And, you know, hanging out with family and friends. That's about it. I like to go in the winter months. I'll shoot pool or, you know, something like that. But my life revolves around wrestling. So it's either wrestling or outdoor stuff.
All right, perfect. Well, Jessie, I want to thank you for your time. And before I let you go, do you want to tell the people watching where they can find you and follow you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much everything is WOW Jessie Jones, and that's JESSIE JONES. And then of course, you know, you can follow WOW and watch it on weekend syndication. So check your local listing and you can watch me make wrestling great again, or make people be my wrestling tag team partner, and just enjoy a great family friendly show.
If you can't find one, let me know, girl. I volunteer. I got you, okay?
Girl, don't play, because I will call David McLean right now and be like, I got me a partner. You just stand there and look pretty, and that'll be your job, and I'll get in the ring and be mean.
I'm pretty sure I can handle my job then.
Nice.
Jessie, thank you so much for your time. Y para la gente viéndonos en Lucha Libre Online, recuerden de ver Women of Wrestling para que puedan ver lo que está haciendo Jessie con su carrera. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.